there, my foxy friend. You're looking particularly foxy today. Thanks for joining. Welcome back. Today I'm going to show you my next new free knitting pattern, and it is inspired by World Kindness Day, and we're going to be making these little heart huggies. They're just cute. They're a great way of spreading kindness. You know, fill it with love while you're making it and give it to someone that just needs that pick-me-up today. Let's get into it. Here's what the end product will look like. These adorable little heart huggies. You can see here I've just used whatever yarn I have left over in my stash. This is some sparkle yarn that I got a few years back, and I can't even tell you what brand it is. I do know that it is an acrylic, and I've used different types of yarn for the mouth. So this one is just a embroidery thread, so you can see here that the mouth is a bit smaller. Here I've used a thicker 8-ply black yarn, made a thicker mouth. All of this is using the same process that I'm about to show you. The supplies that you need, you will absolutely already have, and for this project, it's designed to be a stash buster. It's designed to use what you have at home already. So this is what I'm going to be using. We'll be making a green heart, and I'm just going to be using this pure wool 8-ply 4 Seasons yarn. This is from Spotlight. And for the mouth facial features, I'll be using the 4 Seasons Marble 8-ply in black. You'll need darning needle. I have talked about this before. I like the ones with the hook. You'll see why. Some safety eyes. These are, I believe, a 10 mil. Yep, these are 10 millimeters. I wouldn't recommend anything smaller. I did try using a 5mm eye. Looked really cute, didn't stick very well. What I found was that it slipped through the stitches, so you will need a bigger eye. The bigger the better. It will sit better for you on the heart. And I will be using this yarn to stuff it, but if you don't want to do that, you can absolutely use polyfill or anything else. I will talk to you about why I just stuff it with the yarn that I'm using to make it. You'll see why in a minute. And of course, we can't make this amazing heart huggy pattern without a 22-pin knitting machine. I'll be using the AliExpress. So we're at the beginning of the machine. I'm going to cast on, and if you are new here and you're looking for beginner-friendly patterns, this is perfect for beginners. It's very simple, and if you'd like to know the ins and outs of how to cast on and cast off, I do have videos on how to do that in my main channel. You can click above here. I'll put some links to it for you. So make sure it's cast on. We want to reset the timer, the counter rather, not the timer. And we're going to be working 15 rounds. And I like to keep the tension loose, completely up to you how you want to do the tension. And now we cast off, so rotating around, the darning needle in the tail, casting off. You're going to end up having something that looks like this. Tube, open both ends. This is the end we've just cast off. I'm going to cinch it closed as tight as possible. So it's going to be looking something like that. We want to make sure that hole is closed, and this cinch is as tight as possible. I'm just rethreading my darning needle here. What I do is I really give it a good pull. With my darning needle, I go through the center and I'd come out on the side. I pull through, so there's a loop, and I just secure it by creating a knot. And then what I'm going to do is thread this back through the center there, flip it over. I'm going to hide this thread with the stuffing. Now you're going to need those safety eyes. The reason I do this now and not after I put the stuffing in, because I'm not going to stuff it till it's like really puffy, and I don't want these pins sort of sticking out the other side. So I just find that this method or this order is easier. You're going to flip it over. That's your center cinch there. What I'm going to do is I'm kind of just going to eyeball it here. I'm going to go about 1 centimeter up from the cinch. I'm going to put one eye there. Like so. Do the same thing here, and you want to make sure that they're at least in line with each other this way. So once you're happy with that, cinch that, secure that. You can play around with it a bit. And now we're going to stuff it. Flip it back over. Now I just like to use the same coloured yarn because we're not double lining it. You don't want the stuffing to show through, so it's just as easy to use the same yarn you're working with. Normally I just pull out a whole handful, but this is just a failed one I did earlier. You can see here I've dropped a whole heap of stitches, so I'm just going to unravel it a little bit. Pull that tight, so you can see here there's still quite a lot of loose fabric or body. That's okay. It helps shape the heart. Using the tail, you can secure it here if you like we did before with a knot. I like to. It just helps make sure it doesn't come undone. Using the tail, we're going to come around the top. We're going to go through the center here, back out on the back. Make sure it's even. And you're going to pull tight. And do it again. I do it 2 to 3 times. See here, because we haven't overfilled him, you can flatten him out. Once you're happy with how tight that shape is and the heart at the top, secure again with a knot to make sure that doesn't come undone. And then I just hide the tail back through the body. So if you're familiar with my Pooh and Piglet pattern, this is how I make the mouth. And I use the same technique to make the eyes. So if you don't have safety eyes, you can just sew them on yourself. But I'll show you how to do the mouth. I go in through the back, kind of line up where I want the mouth. I'm going to pull this through until you have it looking like this. You want to keep a tail. Now you can do a big smile. It's completely up to you how you like to do your smiles. It's the same method if you want to do a side smile or you want to do a big, big grin. I like this kind of side smile. We're going to make a diagonal line. I kind of go to the center here, and I don't want to go too far down. I don't want to make him too grinny. I'll just kind of go a little bit further down. We're going to then come out just below where the line is about to come across. So it's going to make like a diagonal line like so. Now to make the curve, this is where that hooked darning needle really comes in handy. You're going to go under. You're going to go over, and you're going to go back in where you came out. And I'm just going to come out here. Pull that as tight as you can. So see here, you've got that smile. I like to keep this length of the yarn as like loose, so you can pull it and it doesn't get too sharp. Now you can leave it here if you like. I like to give that smile line. So I just go just above here and I go just below, and I'll do the same thing and come out on the other side. So that will create that grin line, like so. And once you're finished and you're happy with the smile, your last entry, you want to come out the back here. Now I just play around with it, make sure I'm happy. I'll pull the tails. If it's too tight, just use the darning needle and pull it up a little bit and just loosen it. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. Flip them over, cut off that tail. This is important. This is so the smile doesn't come undone later. You're going to tie a loose knot. So it's really important that you've entered and you've come out in the same spot, because we're going to hide this back in the body of the work with your darning needle. So make sure you leave a decent tail, otherwise it gets a bit fiddly. You want to go back in where you've come out. I'll just go straight to the other side here. So now you can see here, he's gone, can't see it anywhere. We'll just trim this little bit off. You'll hide back in there, and voila, there you have it. You have a little heart huggy. What do you think? Let me know below. I can't wait to see your creations with this. Please make sure to tag me. I love seeing your work and your creative variations of my patterns. Thanks and have a great day.